What's going on, everybody? Coming at you from South Florida. I'm clearly not in my usual film studio in North Texas. I'm actually down in South Florida for the next few weeks. Ever since 2020, my wife and I and our two daughters have been coming down to South Florida to spend the better part of the month of February. And, if you actually go watch the first episode or listen to the first episode, depending on how you're consuming this, you'll hear a little bit of my personal story and how I ended up in North Texas. To keep it short, in 2020, my family and I bailed out of Washington State due to all the COVID nonsense and just really feeling like we didn't want to raise kids there anymore. And we just hit the road in an RV and drove around the country for the better part of a year looking for what felt like home. Well, along our journey, we passed through Florida, and we actually made this trip with one of my brothers, along with his wife and daughter. And at the time, he had one daughter. Now he's got two. And at at some point during our trip, they just said my brother and his wife came to us. They had just had another daughter on the road with us on this trip, and they said, "We love Florida. We want to stay." And my wife and I continued on to Texas, but my brother and his wife kind of settled in Florida. And then the rest of my family that was in Washington State all ended up down in Florida in 2020 and between 2020 and now. And so I got four younger brothers, and they have all been living in South Florida. Uh, Three of them are now married. Two of them have multiple children. One has a child on the way, and my youngest brother's about to get married here in the near future. And so when we come down here, it gives us an opportunity to not only get out of the cold and into the sun, but it gives us an opportunity to be with my parents and my kids' grandparents, and allows all of our kids to hang out with the cousins and spend time together. And so it's a really cool time. And the fact that we all work remotely, my entire family works remotely. I own my own companies. The brother under me owns a bookkeeping business and understands a lot in the money space, crypto space, funding, really smart on the financial side. And brother number three is a high ticket sales guy. Brother number four runs a company off of his laptop, and he's also an author and a musician, and he's completely employed on his own. And then my youngest brother is actually a high ticket sales guy and also runs sales teams for really large organizations. And so we are all completely free and mobile. And so it allows us all to gather and get together in one place. And it's been a huge, huge blessing to have that. Um, but anyway, I'm on a sort of a, not only do I come down here with my family, it's not just vacation. I try to turn whatever vacation I can into a business opportunity or expense whenever possible. And so I'm actually hosting an in-person mastermind here in South Florida this coming weekend, and number of guys are flying in from all over the company, or not all over the company, all over the country to join me here in South Florida for a 2-day mastermind where we spend 2 full days together, connecting, going deep in each other's lives, eating great food. We probably have a cigar night, sunset at the beach. We talk high level business and money concepts. And it's an opportunity for a lot of high impact, high achieving men who want to build more and are really focused on aggressively growing into the future. It gives those kind of guys an opportunity to be in a room for 2 solid days together and find out, where are the bottlenecks in my life, in my business, in my relationships, where do I need to change? And it gives us an opportunity to sharpen each other, challenge one another, and grow. And so I'll not only be here on vacation with my family, but I will also be hosting an in-person mastermind for all of the members of the fraternity that I lead. And that's going to be a great time where I'll get a lot of cool breakthrough. So if you don't follow my Instagram and Facebook, make sure you follow me over there so you get to see some of that content throughout the week. But just today, thinking about what I could share, and I'm going to keep it brief tonight just because I am trying to enjoy my trip a little bit. And I own a triplex down here with one of my brothers a few blocks from the beach. And this was our first actually 7-figure piece of real estate that we ever purchased. And this is a garage that we enclosed and put windows in. So I'm out in the garage in my own triplex that I own a few blocks from the beach, having a cigar in the garage while I film this. But anyway, in thinking about what I was going to share about tonight, what was on my mind today more than anything is how few and far between covenant relationships really are in your life. And I was thinking about just coming down here and spending time with my brothers. There's nobody like your brothers. There's no connection for the most part that you'll ever have like your brothers. By the way, I'm not into a blood is thicker than water theology about life or way of thinking, right? I don't buy into that whatsoever. I've got people that are in my life that are closer than certain relatives. Like blood doesn't mean anything to me. Relationship means everything to me. And so I have a number of friends that are closer than blood relatives, but there's something incredibly special about coming down here because not only do I have my blood brothers that I have incredible relationship with, like there's not brokenness. Sure, there's stuff that drives each other crazy, but there's not brokenness in our relationships. Where we're not at each other's throats. We love one another. We're on each other's team, and that's incredible to have. On top of it, I've got a couple of friends down here that are like brothers, and I was hanging out with one of those guys today who is not blood, but he might as well be. He's a brother, not in blood, but in bond to me. And we were just reminiscing about the last number of years. We've known each other for probably 15 years now. And there is nothing this guy doesn't know about my life that my brothers would know. I go all in. Like I'm not holding any part of me back. I'm all in on relationship. The cycle of relationships that we go through in our lives and how precious and rare it is to run into people that are truly blood brothers that aren't blood. And man, that's been one of the harder parts of my life is the cycle of relationships that have come in and out of my life and how few and far between it is to find the type of men that you can build with and that you can knit your heart together with and build into the future and do long-term life with. It's so incredibly rare. I've lived in a lot of places. I'm 40 years old now. It's hard to believe I'm 40. And I've lived a lot of places. I was born in Nebraska, lived in Missouri, moved after Missouri. I moved to Australia, then to Houston, Texas, then Los Angeles area. Then it was Washington State and multiple homes in between and travel all over the place. Like I've met a lot of people and I've had an opportunity to develop relationships with a lot of people. And even over all that time, at the end of the day, there are not a whole lot of people that really cross that threshold into feeling like family. And it is one of the most rare and precious gifts that you'll ever be given in your life is to have men specifically. If you're a guy listening to this, I assume so. That's who this is catered toward. For the guys out there that are wrestling with relationship and you just feel like maybe there's something wrong with you. Look, if you can't make any friends, I will tell you that if you can't make any friends or you can't keep any friends ever, there might be something wrong with you. It might be your issue. Maybe you are too prickly. Maybe you're too big of a pain. Maybe you're hard to get along with. I think it's always good to look inside and go, what could I do different? How could I be better? How could I be a better friend so more people would want to be around me, spend time with me, be a long-term relationship for me? But even if you are an incredible friend and try to do everything right and love people deeply, at the end of the day, those people are still few and far between and they are rare. Don't get discouraged searching for relationships and going deep with relationships, but just understand that the type of people that you can really do life with are not going to be around every corner. You know, I hear from guys on a regular basis. Whenever I've been, and it was the same way for me, by the way. This is not just, limited to guys I've coached or guys I've worked with over the years. But one of the biggest issues for men, I think, across the board that I've ever spoken with or worked with, it's guys have a sense of loneliness, especially guys who want to lead and want to be more and grow. They feel very lonely, right? They're like, I can't find other men that want to grow. I can't find other men that I want to be around that make me feel challenged, that make me want to do and be more. And you just have to understand at some level that if that is you, you are a rarity. There aren't a whole lot of people like you. And if you're that type of individual who wants to be around quality people and you want to be around people that make you feel like you need to grow and need to keep up and feel challenged, that is not the majority of people. And if that's you, you're going to spend the rest of your life looking for those type of people. Not to say that you can't find them, but the whole reason they're hard to find is because they're rare. There aren't a whole lot of people that want to grow. There aren't a whole lot of people that want to change. There are not a whole lot of people that want to go through some sort of relational conflict and be mature enough to work it out to get to the other side of that conflict so that your relationship can be deepened. And when you find those people, man, hang on to them as hard as you can. Hang on to those people. Don't keep them in your life if they're holding you back, but we're operating under the premise here that this isn't an individual that holds you back. It's someone who makes you feel like you need to grow. But man, treat those people like gold. Take care of them. Value them because they are incredibly rare. People that are willing to go the extra mile, knock heads with you, love you through it, get to the other side, work through that, and continue to love one another into the future for the long term. Man, that is a priceless treasure. Look, I know what I'm sharing tonight isn't super structured, but I don't really think it needs to be. And I hope that it's encouraging to you at some level. If you're struggling finding people that can really grow with you, that encourage you to be more, you're not going to find them around every corner because not everybody thinks that way. Find a lot of people that want to do hard stuff, that want to be accountable, that want to be challenged, that want to be told when they're wrong. Those people are rare, man. Leaders are rare. Leadership is rare in human beings. It's just I think, just an incredible blessing for me. It's the men that I have in my life have taken a long time, 40 years for me to whittle them down to the men I know I can count on. And I'm hopeful that there are more around the corner. I'm always searching. I'm always searching for new relationships and connections. But I also have a realistic picture and understanding, a realistic picture of the world and understanding that finding those type of people is not a given. It's not automatic. And also to keep those kind of people in your life, you're going to have to be one of those individuals. You want good friends in your life, you got to be a friend. You want high achieving people in your life, well, they want to attach themselves to winners as well. Nobody wants to attach themselves to a loser or somebody who isn't going anywhere. And so be the type of individual that those kind of people want to be around and want to hang on to. Be intentional about finding them. And then go all in with them. Don't hold back. You only get so many chances to live this life. One. That's it. You get one shot at this thing. Take the risks. Give the love. Put yourself at risk. Be willing to be hurt. Be willing to have your heart ripped out. And you'll find some good people along the way. And anyway, it was just blessing me today being able to spend time with a guy where we know the stuff about each other. We know the dark, deep stuff. We can say anything to one another. And we care about each other enough to tell each other the hard things. And it's always great to be able to pick up where you left off. But that's really all I had to share tonight. Nothing super structured. Not a ton of notes. But look for those kind of people. You can find them. They're just a rarity. And as a rarity, you should treasure them